Hello everyone, this is Rosa Kelly, and today I'm gonna be doing a tutorial for you, as some of you requested, for this mini album that I did using the BoBunny Winter Wishes collection. You could use any paper you want, but I will be working on that and I'll let you know which pages I'm using. So this is just a quick walkthrough of this album. I will post a separate link of the detail album that I'm showing. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be working on this album. I'll make another one very similar to this, and I will be doing step by step for you. Okay, so let's get started. So to make this album, we're gonna need a 12 by 12 pack, and I'm using the Winter Wishes collection, and I'm also using a 6 by 6 pack, and then I'm gonna need 4 sheets of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and this is just normal weight, not heavy weight. This is and this is the gray color that I'm using because I think it matches this collection really good for the cover. Then you're also going to need the chipboard, and I cut my chipboard at 7.5 by 6.5, so I have 2 of those. And for the spine, I have a 7.5 by 3. And then we're also going to need the heavyweight cardstock to make your base pages. So this is just heavyweight cardstock. And then to, if you want to embellish your album, I'm using 2 different kinds of Martha Stewart paper punches, and then of course double-sided tape and glue and scissors. So to start my binding, I'm gonna grab 2 of my 8.5 by 11 gray cardstock, and I'm going to put some double-sided tape along the edge and just join them together like that. And then I'm going to grab my chipboard, and I'm going to put double-sided tape along all the borders. Okay, so I go ahead and added that double-sided tape, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the tape and add some glue in the middle. So just like that. And I use this glue. I think it's very strong. It's tacky glue, but it's really strong. And it works for me. I've been using this glue for a while now. And believe me, I try different types of glue. So then I'm just, because this is an 8.5 and this is a 7.5, I'm going to make sure that I have equal room on the top and bottom in when I add it. So that's the middle piece. And then I like putting my ruler right there. So when I add these 2 right here, then I know they're straight. Oops. So I'm going to go ahead and peel the tape for the other 2. Okay, so I peel my tape, and I'm just going to, add some glue and add it right here. And I'm going to leave like an 8. So this is also why I have my ruler right here. So I leave an 1/8 of an inch space. So that's that. And then I'm going to do the same with the other side. So I'll leave an 1/8 of an inch and try to make it as straight as possible. And there you go. Okay, so now I'm just going to trim the excess. I'm going to leave about an inch on each side. Okay, so I trim both sides, and now what I'm going to do is just give it a little bend all along the sides and this side before I add my tape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the corners, and I'm going to make sure I leave, see where they meet. I'm going to make sure I cut along that. If you cut too deep, then you don't want your corner to be showing. So I'm just going to cut it like that, and I have a little bit of space left, like an 1/8 of an inch right there. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut all of them. Like that, and the last one just like that. And now I'm just going to add double-sided tape to all my sides. Okay, so I added my tape all around, and I'm just going to start with the long sides. I'm just going to peel the long, and I'm going to push on the middle, and then just push on the sides like that. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I start on the middle, and then I do the sides. And then for the sides, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck in the corners like that. And I'm going to peel the tape again. And then just glue it right there. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to tuck in the corners. And just push. Okay, so there we go. And then we're just gonna, I like to use my bone folder and just mark the crease of the bends like that, so they don't crack when I bend it. So that's the this is our binder. So that's the outside. And now we're gonna do the hinge. So for the hinges, what I'm gonna do is grab one of my 8.5 by 11, and this is a normal weight sheet, not heavyweight. And I'm going to cut it at 7, which is gonna be the size of my page. Actually, the size of my page is 7.5. So I'm going to make the hinge at 7, and make sure you cut it on the long side. Like that. And then we're gonna grab our scoreboard, and I'm going to score this sheet at I'm going to start at 1.5, and then I'm just going to score every third, or 3/4 of an inch. So this is my binder or my album. And so let me just show you right here. I'm going to do 3 pages, and in between the pages they're all gonna be 3/4 of an inch even. And then the part that goes to hold my page, it's also at 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to do 3/4 of an inch all the way. So I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm just going to score these. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. and these are all spaced at 3/4 of an inch. So here is my sheet, and I'm going to start bending it. Just give it a pinch. You're gonna leave the first 3/4 and alone, and I'm just gonna skip to the second and third, and again you're gonna skip that one, and then you're gonna pinch the next two, and skip that one and pinch the next two. So now this will be our three sheets. So let me just mark it, make it really flat like that. Okay, so then I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to add double-sided tape to each one of these. Okay, so I glue it, or I added the double-sided tape. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more double-sided tape on the back side. I'm going to put one on each one of the edges, and then I'm going to put one on each one of these for 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and this is the Kati Orta's hidden hinge system. So she explains it really good. So this is her channel, and I think she makes it really easy to understand. So if you want to do that, then that's good. And then so I have the tape, and now I'm gonna add tape on these 3 hinges as well. So the way I do that, as I explained on my other tutorial, is I put the tape right along the outside edge of the hinge. So I will put it really close to the outside edge, because the remaining 1/4 of an inch is gonna give us the room, allow us to move our page without any, without getting stuck, and it will allow the page to open flat. So I'm just adding it right here. And there you go. So then I added the tape along the outside edge, as you can see, and then I have the tape all along the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this right here, and I will line it up with the first bending mark, and I want to make sure that's gonna line up with my first score line. So I'm going to remove the tape on the back, and just really quick, and then I'm gonna add some glue to the part that doesn't have any tape. Okay, so I got all the tape out, and then I'm just going to add some glue. I also want to add glue in between the tape, so all along. Okay, and then like I say, I'm going to grab these and line up the very first score line to my first bending, and make sure it's centered up and down, equal distance to the edges. So I'm just going to press on that, press on that, press on that, and the last one like that. Okay, so after I do that, I'm gonna give it a little bend and keep pressing like that. And then on the back side, I like to do another score along the bending, just to make sure it's not going to crack when you bend it. So there you go. Okay, so that's our binder with our hinge inside. So there you go. Next, I'm going to cut two sheets of my gray paper, and I'm going to cut it at 7 1/4 by 6 1/4. And these two sheets, we're going to add them to our binding. So we're going to do this, and I like doing this extra step because this will secure my hinge, and then it also, you know, it gives it a clean finished look. So there you go, our base binding is completed, and now we're going to cover the front. So next, you're going to pick your favorite sheet of the collection, what you want to use for your cover, and you're going to cut that at 6 by 7 1/4, and you're going to do the same, pick one for your back cover. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and ink, and I'm using the Distress ink by Tim Holtz, and I'm just going to go just along the edge like that. And same with the back. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue my front and my back. So I like to put something under my binder to make my you know, my front flat, so I can just add it without a problem. So that's one side. I'll clean the excess right there, and then I'm going to do the same with the back cover. And I like to use glue because it allows me to, you know, center it and move it a little bit before it completely dries, compared to the tape. The tape, it's like once you put it, you can adjust it. So here we go, and I'm going to clean it up, and there you go. So now we have our front and back, and I'm going to decorate this later because I want to be able to open my book flat, and when I embellish it, then I can't do that anymore. So to build my pages, I'm going to grab 2 pieces of heavyweight 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I'm going to cut one at 6. Let me cut it this way. I'm going to cut one at 6 by 7, which is the size of my page, and I'm going to cut the other one at 6 by 8. Okay, and then I'm going to score the bigger piece 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, so I'm gonna score along the long side 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, and then I'm just going to bend this and add some double-sided tape right there, and do the same on the other side. Okay, so I have tape on both sides. I'm just gonna give this a crease, and I'm going to add the other piece right on top, just like that. So the way I do this first, I make sure they're even and center, and then I'm gonna peel my tape just a little bit, and I'm gonna hold that and just pull it down, and then I'll do the same on the other side. Get the tape out. Okay, make sure it's flat. You don't want to make a bubble inside of these. And then just pull, and there you go. So this is your first page. And then you do this 2 more times. And then you are going to have 3 pages. And these are going to be your base page.